Mad honey is one of the most unusual natural substances ever studied. Unlike most foods, its effects can change dramatically depending on where it is produced, how much is consumed, and which plants the bees visited. For centuries, people in mountain regions have used mad honey in small amounts for traditional purposes. At the same time, modern medicine treats it as a substance that requires careful control. So how do scientists decide what is safe and what is not? The answer lies in a careful mix of traditional knowledge, chemical testing, and medical research. Mad honey becomes toxic because it contains natural compounds called granotoxins. These chemicals come from certain rhododendron plants that grow in high-altitude regions. When bees collect nectar from these plants, small amounts of granotoxins end up in the honey. Not all mad honey contains the same level of these compounds. Some batches are mild, while others are much stronger. Because of this variation, safety cannot be judged by appearance, taste, or color alone. This is why scientific measurement is essential. Without proper testing, even experienced users cannot know the true strength of a specific batch. Long before laboratories existed, local communities developed their own safety rules. In regions where mad honey has been used for generations, people learned to limit portions, avoid frequent use, and recognize early warning signs like dizziness or nausea. These traditions act as an informal safety system based on observation and experience. Scientists do not dismiss this knowledge. Instead, they study it carefully. Researchers often begin by documenting how much honey is traditionally consumed, how often it is used, and under what conditions negative effects appear. This information helps scientists form realistic research questions and design safer studies. The most important step in modern safety measurement is laboratory analysis. Scientists collect honey samples from different regions and test them using advanced equipment such as chromatography and mass spectrometry. These tools allow researchers to identify and measure the exact concentration of granotoxins present in each sample. By comparing dozens or even hundreds of samples, scientists can establish average toxin ranges and identify extreme outliers. This data helps define thresholds where mild effects begin and where serious symptoms become likely. These thresholds are not guesses. They are based on repeated measurements and peer-reviewed studies. Another key source of safety information comes from hospitals and medical reports. When people experience adverse reactions to mad honey, doctors document symptoms, amounts consumed, and recovery time. Over time, these reports form a valuable database. Researchers analyze these cases to see patterns. For example, they may find that symptoms consistently appear above a certain estimated dose, or that certain groups are more sensitive. This real-world medical evidence helps confirm or refine laboratory findings. Once laboratory data and medical reports are combined, scientists work to establish safety benchmarks. These are not recommendations to consume mad honey. Instead, they define known risk levels. Benchmarks often include estimated low-risk exposure ranges, symptom-triggering ranges, and dangerous exposure levels. It is important to understand that these benchmarks are conservative. Scientists assume variability in honey strength and human sensitivity. This cautious approach helps protect public health and guides medical professionals when treating exposure cases. Mad honey research is still evolving. New analytical techniques continue to improve accuracy, and researchers are learning more about how granotoxins interact with the human nervous and cardiovascular systems. Scientists also study how storage, aging, and environmental changes affect toxicity levels. Because of this, safety benchmarks are regularly reviewed. What matters most is transparency. Researchers publish methods, share data, and allow findings to be verified by others. This openness is a cornerstone of responsible science. Measuring safety levels in mad honey is not about fear or sensationalism. It is about replacing uncertainty with evidence. Without testing and research, people rely on guesswork. With science, risk can be understood, managed, and communicated clearly. Mad honey sits at the intersection of tradition and modern research. Respecting both requires careful measurement, honest reporting, and continued study. For clear, evidence-based explanations grounded in real research, subscribe for more science you can trust.